Welcome to the Emily and Joe Show. I'm Emily Berry. This year has been the most confusing real estate year of all time. Today I want to discuss the top challenges I'm seeing from the buyer and seller side and some tips on how to navigate today's market. Hands down, the biggest challenge for sellers right now is getting the price right. Remember, in a lot of cases, the market has been 1, 2, even 3 steps ahead of sellers. So for example, if a seller overpriced their house by 5% in April and it didn't sell, by the time they're ready to drop their price or realize they need a price reduction, it could be 60 days from then. And then they need 15% adjustment, in some cases 20, which is really hard to digest. Remember, prices have gone down about 5% per month since April, which makes this a huge mathematical equation. For the realtors even, this is extremely confusing, even though we have all the data, but we really have to study it and dig deep. So sellers need to be getting detailed information from their listing agents. How many houses that I'm competing against dropped their price this week? Where do I stack up against my competition? It is really challenging. And again, an obstacle I see is sellers just not getting educated properly. Now, to be fair to the realtors, a lot of times the realtors are actually doing their homework and showing this data to the sellers. Sometimes the sellers are in denial, they're just not buying it, being stubborn, wanting to try that higher price, not being convinced of the risks. And then again, they're just left feeling frustrated. They're not getting a lot of showings. Homes that are 20% adjusted properly right now are not getting a lot of showings and offers. And sellers, just because you want to get a certain price for your house, it is irrelevant to the buyers, okay? So I'm seeing a lot of emotional prices. This is what I need to get. This is what I want to get. The buyers are not gonna pay more than the house is worth right now, and the buyers are really doing their homework. They're afraid that prices are gonna go down a little bit more. And they probably are. So they're trying to get the best deal possible right now. I certainly don't want to paint a picture that it is a terrible market, because you know what? The media is doing that for us, okay? It's a buyer's market, and nothing's selling. Actually, guys, houses are selling. There are sales on the board. There are buyers out there and there's bookings on listings. You just have to be adjusted properly. You have to be fully educated. Houses sell, okay? Presentation, exposure, and price. Your presentation can be bang on. You could have full exposure, but if your price isn't right, you're gonna have a problem. Now, to make matters worse, sellers are afraid of lowballers. Now, I don't like this word. This is not in my vocabulary. It's a bad word to me. I always hated it, but I'm gonna bring it out of my vocabulary because there's a lot of lowballing going on. And the sellers have a reason to be concerned, because I'm seeing some sellers price their homes properly. I mean a solid 20% adjustment from the spring. And they're saying, what if people lowball? And I'm like, that's okay. People are gonna do the homework and see that you're priced properly. Sure enough, the lowballer comes in trying to get 100,000 off. Which brings me to the buyer challenges. Just because there's 2 listings, one of them could be 10 to 15% overpriced. One of them is priced bang on the money for August. You're not gonna just throw 100 less into both of them. It doesn't make any sense. These sellers have adjusted price. They've accepted, they have followed the direction of their agent. They've swallowed their pride and they're putting an August price up. These poor buyers right now have to do massive homework with their buyer agents, because they have to know, is that listing 20% overpriced for February? Is it about 10% overpriced? Or is it priced properly for August? I know you're scared prices are gonna dip a little bit more, but please know this. If they dip a little bit more, they're gonna go back up again. And unless you're selling in the next 6 months and you're just holding that property long-term, you have nothing to worry about. You're gonna be paying your own mortgage. And I do believe there is a buildup of buyers. I believe there's a buildup of investors right now. The investors are still investors. They always will want to buy. Right now, they're not buying. They're waiting until they feel more comfortable. Hold on a second. There are some investors out right now. The smart ones. That's right. They know what's up. Opportunity. Everyone's waiting for the bottom. I don't know, when the bottom gets here, everyone might jump back in the market at once. We have another rate increase in about 3 weeks. Now, if we see a low increase, maybe 0.25, we might see a very healthy fall market. A lot of buyers come back to the table. If we see a really high rate increase, we might see things slow down for another 3 to 4 weeks. So we're waiting to see what's gonna happen as well. Guys, I wanna leave you off with a very quick story. Not a funny story, serious story. In 2017, I sold a house in the spring in a bidding war. It was a long closing. By the time the summer came, the buyer didn't wanna close on the property, felt like the property was not worth what they paid in a bidding war for it in early spring. Buyer lost the deposit, was sued for damages. Fast forward, 4 years later in 2021, that same property was worth $600,000 more, almost doubled in price than the price the buyer didn't want to close at. Guys, think long term. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm Emily Berry from the Berry team, your Niagara listing and buying team. Thanks, guys.